I want to cover some of the foundational points for kind of what to offer with your lead gen. So whether this is cold email, cold calling, cold SMS, whatever it is, these are a couple of points that will really help make the difference between a good campaign and a bad campaign.
Hello, my name is Daniel Spence and I run Automation X, which is an automation agency that builds really cool automations and lead generation.
So the main thing to think about is kind of like what the quote-unquote offer is. It's the most important thing. Then we're going to look at risk reversal, what people have to gain from it, and then what are the tangible benefits and results. And then, of course, what problem are you actually solving? So the first thing is, what do they have to gain from what you do? So is that more leads? Is that automations? Is that time back? Is that kind of, you really want to go to like the nth degree of like, okay, look, if I can do this for you, you're going to make more money. Or you're going to save time so you can make more money. Like, all that is just one step further away from the pain. But you want to get as close to, we guarantee you're going to make money, as humanly possible. Because that's really what they're paying for, and then it's a clear ROI. If you look at like SEO and SEO agencies, the problem is it's that extra gap away. It's like, we'll build your profile up so you show up in Google, so that then when people are Googling, they click on it, so you stand a better chance of getting bought from. It's not a clear-cut ROI. It's not saying like, look, if I automate your onboarding process, you can then go from 5 clients a week to 15 clients a week, which means in theory you can triple your revenue quite easily just by adding these automations in. That's really what you want to be like honing in on. Is really fundamentally, what do they gain from working with you? But then what are the tangible benefits and results? Ideally, numbers, percentages. Like you really want to kind of like show the results that you've done. Be bold, be in the grey areas I put on here. They can ask you about it on the call. This is a really interesting one. Charlie Morgan and a couple of other big players basically use a bit of clickbaiting to get people actually on a call. So, for example, Charlie Morgan's offer, I don't know if it still is, but was that they guarantee 20 odd clients on a pay on results basis. If you actually look into it, it's not pay on results. He just offers a refund if you don't get those clients. So technically, you are kind of paying for those results, but you're kind of also not. So you can be a bit grey about this. Just be aware that it will come up on the sales call, or it might come up on the sales call. We've had probably, actually saying that, probably 50% of the calls don't actually even ask about this, and the good clients never ask about this. They're just happy with the results that you're able to give them. Follow me for loads more tips. So yeah, really, really powerful. Just be careful, don't over egg it. If you're gonna do grey areas, be like, look, we guarantee X, Y, and Z. And ideally, in an ideal world, you'd make it your offer so good that you hold up to that. But also, if you're saying like, yeah, this automation will save you 20 hours a week, but it relies on you using it 20 times, and that's your bit in grey that you don't necessarily say, then yeah, great, 100%, it will be worthwhile doing. What is the problem that you're solving? So how does that exist? What do they want in their heart of hearts? What is a desired outcome? So, for example, lead generation isn't necessarily about them having more leads. It's about them closing more business. And in the hearts of hearts, it's the fact that they genuinely believe that if they just had more leads, it would solve all of their problems. Chances are it's actually a sales problem. And the reason that they're not succeeding is because the one client that they do get a month, they can't sell to. So it's about straddling that and getting them to the point where it's like, okay, like what is it that you actually want, and finding out that. So obviously you can't turn around and say, we'll build this automation so you can spend more time working on your sales skills so that you can actually close someone. You can't actually structure it around that. However, you can very much say, you're going to win more business, you're going to do well. Our leads will mean that you're doing more sales calls, and technically they will get better at sales calls off the back of that. Sub-problem. So what does the problem what's the problem your problem creates? For example, ours is, well, automation wise, it's then freeing up the time to do other things. So it's how you actually deal with that time better. So if we say we're going to save you 20 hours a week, that means you can spend that time on X, Y, and Z. And that's really where we're kind of leveraging AI and the sub-problems. And by addressing the sub-problems in advance, it will kind of show that you've already thought about it. So for example, lead generation, we're going to get you 100 booked meetings a day. They're going to go, oh crap, that means that I'm going to have to do 100 sales calls, which means I'm going to need 100 hours, which is impossible. So if we're like, and we'll show you how to hire salespeople so that you can get those closed and win business, then it's kind of like, it shows like, oh, okay, they've thought about this. So, oh, like it almost allows them to be like, oh, okay, it's fine, they're on it. They've got it covered. Instead of you coming in and being like, hit the follow button, you don't want to miss what's next. Basically, you're answering the questions before they even have to ask it. And it might take a little while to know what these are for your niche, but for your problem and what you're solving, it should be quite clear. The next one is, what is the offer? So what are you really selling? So we were never selling AI automation. It's getting you more clients with AI, or saving you more times with AI, or just reducing the time spent doing meaningless tasks so that AI could fully replace for you. PR, it's not necessarily getting you in the newspaper or TV. It's using media to make you the go-to person in your industry. Like that's really the tangible stuff that you need to be boiling it down to. And then of course, what is the time frame and results? These need to be bold but still achievable. So you don't want to say like, we'll get you 100 leads and it will take us 1 day to set it up, because it won't. So just be like, we can automate 90% of your business. Probably you would struggle with the time frame on that, but we can automate your 50% of your business in 25 days, and that's kind of like what you're offering. The main thing on there is to really talk about what else you can help with on that. So it needs to be bold, it needs to be achievable. They want numbers and they want to make sure that all of that's done, but at the end of the day, it's really honing in on that. You do ideally want to package this up with a time frame as well. So as much as I've said, like, yeah, it'll be hard to put a time frame on that, but if you can, it should really be time bound as well. And then do one offer, then do another offer, and then do another one. So you've got a couple of options you can look at. Another element of this is the risk reversal. So how can you make this such a no-brainer that it's like, wow, okay. And this is kind of where you get into the grey area, which we talked about earlier. So how do you make sure that you are risk-free to them? Like, how do you make it so that it's just like, okay, well, look, worst case, I don't lose anything. Is it a free trial? Is it pay on results? Is it X amount of hours saved or a full refund? Like, there's so many elements of this, but sit and think about it. It's harder in an automation agency than a marketing agency, but at the end of the day, it's very, very possible, and the risk reversal element's like huge. Whether you're doing video editing or anything, you can really use this to your advantage. And if you don't hit it, then refund them, or make it so that you'll work with them until you do hit that goal. So let's use video editing for an example. So let's say you're editing videos and it's for short form content, and you guarantee that people are going to go quote unquote viral. Obviously you're limited a little bit by the content they give you. So if you guarantee that you'll double their number of views on the same kind of content by making it shorter, snappy, adding some music, editing some stuff in, that'll be extremely beneficial. Follow me for loads more tips. And then it's actually something that they can check those numbers against. Next thing is who. Who is it that we want to target? What do they do? Where are they? And would they admit they have your problems? So what have they done to solve the problems in the past? So this is really where you can hone in. So for example, lead generation, I know I've used this a couple of examples, but it's one that we know quite well. So you're helping marketing agencies find leads. Have they tried ads before? Maybe. Have they worked? I'm assuming not, because they're talking to you. So you can talk about how, like, we're not like ads agencies, we're using AI and automation to get these appointments booked, and so on. So you can really, really hone in on those elements and really make the most of it, because you know what their pain points are, and that's the important part. So yeah, understanding who, where they exist, what language they speak. So, example, we are doing extremely well selling AI automations at the moment, and our copy is so simple, it's literally like idiot proof. It's speaking their language so that they know what it is that we're offering as a whole, and not just some kind of like wishy-washy AI automation and APIs and ChatGPT, like it just goes straight over their head. But use layman's terms, put it in the language that they understand. So I'm going to touch on email copy here a little bit. The same kind of thing applies for SMS and even cold calling. Obviously the scripts are different, but if you get these fundamental parts in there, then it will help. So email copy, subject lines, we've used a massive variety of. The question for name, inquiry for is better, but question for name has been quite overused. So just be aware of that. Then the framework is hi first name, generalized compliment. So if you're not using AI or anything like that to personalize your emails, hit the follow button. You don't want to miss what's next. Just going with a generalized compliment that anybody in the industry could use and know about, and then an offer stated with conviction, a risk reversal, and then further conviction statement, a request for a call, and then a thank you, and then an optional PS with more conviction. So this could be like, we signed Sarah this week and she's already closed 3 clients. It's just like a bit of social proof or boosting their confidence in the market. I'd make 3 of these and test them all and see which one does best. There's a couple of examples. I'll just flick them up so you can have a look and give them a pause. Have a look, read them. PS conviction, we talked about this already. It's just really the opportunity to kind of hone in what it is that they're doing. And kind of like really double down on the value. And then I've done another video on the LinkedIn setup, so go and have a look at that. But if you're using LinkedIn Outreach, then make sure your LinkedIn profile set up. But I hope that's helpful. I will attach this presentation below. Any questions, let me know.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe.